Whoa, India's stock market just had an absolutely wild day. We are talking about a rally so huge it pretty much caught everyone off guard. So the big question is, what just happened? And, is this for real or just a temporary blip? Let's get into it. Okay, so first up, let's look at the Sensex. This is one of the big benchmarks for the Indian market, and it just went vertical. I mean, it gained over 2,600 points in just one day. That is a massive, massive jump. And hey, this wasn't just a one-off. The Nifty 50, which tracks all those big-name companies, was right there with it. It shot up an incredible 776 points too. And to round it all out, check this out. The Bank Nifty, which, tracks the banks, exploded by a huge 4.4%. So right away, that tells you something, right? The banks, the financial sector, they were right in the middle of all this. So you see numbers like these, and you just gotta ask, how? What in the world could make the entire market surge like that all at once? It's pretty crazy. Well, it turns out it wasn't just random luck. The market got hit with a kind of a 1-2 punch of really good news. And that was basically the perfect fuel to light this fire. So what were they? First, a big decision from India's central bank, the RBI. And second, some huge news about a trade deal that really changes things for businesses. Let's start with the RBI. Okay, so the big deal here is all about one word, stability. The RBI kept interest rates right where they were, at 5.25%. And what that does is it sends a message to investors, right? It says, hey, we think the economy is doing just fine. And in a world that's kind of shaky right now, the market loves that. It's basically a big green light to go ahead and invest. And then there's this. This is where it gets really wild. The new trade deal between India and the US just slashed some major tariffs. We're talking about a drop from 50% all the way down to 18%. For the companies involved, that is a total game changer for their profits. And of course, investors jumped on that news immediately. Okay, so we've got all this good news, this huge momentum, but who actually won? Where did all that money go? Let's look at the biggest movers of the day. The winners were pretty obvious. Adani stocks were on fire, with some of them jumping up to 10%. And like we saw with the Bank Nifty, banks everywhere just soared. It just goes to show you that investors were feeling really, really good about where India's economy is headed. I saw a quote that just captured the mood perfectly. It said that with all this good news, the market's bulls went berserk. And that's exactly what it was. The bulls are the optimistic investors, and they just went on a buying spree. Everyone wanted a piece of the action. But here's the twist. This is where the story gets really, really interesting. Because on the surface, it looked like everyone was celebrating. But when you dig into the numbers, you see a totally different story. Not everyone was buying into this rally. So first, let's just get the terms straight so we're all on the same page. You've got your DIIs. Those are the domestic institutional investors, the big money players inside India. And then you've got your FIIs, the foreign institutional investors, coming from all over the world. And right here, this is the great divide. On this crazy day, the domestic guys, the DIIs, were buying up everything they could. But at the same exact time, the foreign investors, the FIIs, were selling. It's like this massive tug of war, right? You've got local optimism on one side and maybe some global caution on the other. Maybe the FIIs were just cashing out, or maybe they're worried about something else entirely. And get this, for the local investors, this wasn't just a one-day thing. They've actually been buying for 6 days straight. So their belief is strong. They are seriously betting big on India's future right now. So this whole disagreement between the local and foreign money, it brings us to the million-dollar question. Who's right? Is this rally the real deal? Or are the foreign investors seeing a red flag that the locals are missing? Well, it turns out there's one big event coming up that could settle the debate. And that big test is the upcoming earnings report from TCS. They're one of India's biggest tech companies, and their numbers are dropping this week. If they post a great report, it could prove the optimists right and send the market even higher. But if the report is weak, well, that could stop this party cold. So that's where we're at. We're back to that big question. Was this incredible day the start of a real lasting recovery? Or was it just a temporary bounce that's about to hit a wall? We don't know for sure. But the TCS earnings, they're going to give us our first big clue.